Matatu is a 1931 Matthews 38 standard cruiser. It was one of the first production boats built in the United States, or maybe anywhere. This boat is probably one of about 35 boats that were sister ships. They were designed and built in Port Clinton, Ohio. The Matthews Company made an extraordinary boat, and that's why this boat is still here. Although we tend to think it wasn't very much money, I think this boat originally sold for something like $7,000 or something in that range. In 1931, that was a lot of money, and it represented a lot of capital. This boat was not the top end of the line. This was intended to be every man's boat. Of course, that's every man that had a good job, 20 or 50 people reporting to him, and probably a car in a house at the lake or a house at the beach to go along with his servants and everything else. It was every man's. It wasn't a Vanderbilt boat, but it would represent an upscale boat in this day and age. A sister ship to this boat was featured in two of the first movies that Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart made. The first movie was To Have and to Have Not. The second one was really my guiding light in what we decided to do to this boat. It was Key Largo, and the boat features very prominently in that movie. Actually, when we bought the boat, we had a suspicion that it might have been that boat, because to my knowledge, there were only two Matthews 31s on the West Coast, and so we had a 50-50 shot. But as I got involved in the boat and I rewatched the movies many, many times, I could tell this was not exactly the same boat, but a sister ship. This boat, I was able to find out, was bought by a man named Jonah Jones. He was at that time an up-and-coming lawyer for the oil industry in Los Angeles, which in the 30s was booming and booming. He also ended up being Howard Hughes' lawyer and helped to fight his battles over the Spruce Goose. The boat was owned by Jonah Jones for 8 years. He sold this boat to Charlie Gauss. Charlie's mother, it turns out, was quite a wealthy individual. His father was the ambassador to China. Charlie Gauss was given this boat as an 18th birthday present by his mother. Who would think? When he died in 1988, he had a 1931 Matthews, 1926 DeSoto, and a cloth-wing Cessna that he flew religiously all the time. The boat was built with what at that time was commonly available, which was old-growth Douglas fir ceilings and planking, with Honduras mahogany planks on bent white oak frames. The reason the boat has survived, in fact, is because it is copper riveted, and they did a fantastic job. If you're actually going along slowly, it is a very, very classy ride. We repowered it with a Cummins QSB 5.9 diesel that does about 290 horsepower. The boat can get up and go. So it'll do 15 knots when it's wide open, but at 7 or 8 knots, it's a great entertainment platform. So as we go through the boat and take a look at the boat, you'll see that although the internals of the boat are ripping and raring in 2008, the visual of the boat and the feeling of the boat and the design of the boat is exactly as it was in 1931. In addition to fixing all of the basic structure of the boat, which was the frames and floors and subflooring, what we've tried to do is replace the systems that were way overdue and to make the boat appear to the outside weather like a modern boat. So when we got the boat was leaking like a sieve. When it rained, it looked like a shower head inside. Had we not got the boat, it would have probably died within 2 or 3 years. next owner, I would expect, is either going to be, hopefully there's somebody in Santa who would like to have it here in Santa Barbara. It's been here since 1936. I would hope that it's going to be somebody that likes a classic boat for being a classic boat.